In the summer of 2001, I kayaked solo for 66 days down the Nahanni, Liard, and Mackenzie Rivers in Canada's Northwest Territories. The wild Nahanni and muddy Liard showed few signs of human life, but the Mackenzie, part of the continent's second longest river system, was different. Tugboats pulling giant barges filled with supplies for roadless indigenous communities downstream were a common sight. However, the situation has changed drastically. Nowadays, the Mackenzie River often lacks the depth needed for these barges, leading to a halt in services by the government-owned company operating the tugs. This year, it became evident that even in late spring, the river would not contain sufficient water. The Canadian Coast Guard announced its services were impacted for almost 1,000 miles of the river. With essential supplies now being flown in by plane, costs have skyrocketed, leading residents in the Sahtu region to demand the Canadian government build a $1 billion road and bridge, known as the Mackenzie Valley Highway Project. This project aims to connect them with other communities and services in the south. Many are currently rationing fuel and bringing in food from the south while vacationing or undergoing medical treatment. During earlier periods of low water, supplies were trucked north, thousands of miles from the south, along the Alaska and Dempster highways, then barged in from the Arctic Ocean on the Mackenzie. However, this workaround has never happened with water so low for so long, and climate change is expected to worsen the situation. Todd McCauley, leading the campaign for the road, highlights the uncertainty of future years as the climate continues to warm and dry out the river. Charles McNeely, a Fort Good Hope resident and chairman of the Dean and Métis-run Sahtu Secretariat, emphasizes the historical exploitation of the North's resources by Southern companies. He advocates for a different approach that benefits the local communities rather than distant markets. Increasingly hot, dry weather, diminishing winter snowpack, and rapidly melting ice fields have been reducing mid to later summer flows along most of the continent's Arctic rivers for many years. Retired U.S. Fish and Wildlife biologist Skip Ambrose noted the unprecedented low river levels during a boating trip on the Yukon River. The Great Slave Lake, which drains into the Mackenzie River, is also at a record low. Residents along the Yukon and Mackenzie Rivers face not only low water levels, but also high water levels caused by early melting. In 2021, flooding caused $40 million in damages. University of Saskatchewan water expert John Pomeroy warns of severe consequences for water resources management and navigation due to higher and earlier flows, higher flood peaks, and less water flowing in the summer. Scientists have observed significant changes in the rate and timing of river discharges during the spring melt and summer stream intermittency. Research suggests that by 2100, there will be 25% more runoff in the far north, but less water flowing in late spring and summer. The rapid melting of glaciers, such as those in the St. Elias ice field and the Brintnell-Bologna ice fields, contributes to this trend for years. Sahtu residents have demanded a 2-lane gravel highway of approximately 200 miles, estimated to cost at least $700 million, as in 2018 the government allocated $70 million to study its feasibility. However, Canada's Environment Minister announced that the government would no longer invest in major new road construction, focusing instead on projects that combat climate change. Following public outcry, officials clarified that the Mackenzie Valley Highway was still under consideration. Conservationists worry that approving the road could bolster claims for other Arctic roads, such as a proposed port and road for mining interests in the Kitikmeot region. Despite the challenges, the Sahtu hope the road will make it easier and cheaper to receive essential goods and foresee economic opportunities from tourism. Proponents argue that the road would also facilitate the cleanup of toxic materials from mining and other development activities. McNeely suggests naming the road after Prime Minister Trudeau, if approved, symbolising a new era of bringing the world into the north, rather than taking resources out.